Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're cutting straight through the noise. We're looking past the flashy magazine covers and the 24-hour news cycles to uncover something, well, honestly, far more powerful. We're talking about the hidden families who quietly shape global finance entirely from behind the scenes. Think about fortunes that have literally survived world wars, massive market crashes, and the fall of entire empires. This is all about the invisible architects of our financial world. So, let's kick things off with a simple question. One that kind of flips our whole perception of real power right on its head. Would you rather be a famous billionaire or an unknown trillionaire? It's a pretty fascinating thought experiment, right? Because while the rest of the world watches public billionaires fight for headlines on social media, there's this entirely different class of wealth that just thrives in the shadows. You've got your flashy new money, highly visible, highly publicized, and, let's face it, heavily taxed. We're talking tech founders and celebrities. But then, there's old money. This is built on hidden infrastructure. It completely values private anonymity and is specifically designed to be preserved for centuries, not just one single lifetime. And that core difference really changes the whole game. New money seeks out public attention with single companies, while old money quietly builds these deep layers of hidden ownership designed entirely just to survive. Section 1. The Historical Wealth Dynasties. Tracing the blueprint of generational wealth. Let's get into it. Watch how this blueprint actually builds over time. Starting way back in the late 1700s, you have the Rothschild family pioneering decentralized banking over in Europe. Then, moving into the early 1900s, the Rockefellers institutionalized extreme wealth in America. And right around that same time, the Morgans stepped up to consolidate banking and capital itself. These three specific eras, they essentially poured the concrete foundation for modern global finance. Now, the real genius here with the Rothschilds was the strategy. Think about these cities: Frankfurt, London, Paris, Vienna, Naples. Rather than keeping his family in one single place, Mayor Rothschild actually placed his sons all across Europe. By doing this, he created this incredibly tight international network. They possessed crucial market information way faster than local governments could even communicate with each other. It was an absolute game changer for early international finance. Now, before we go further, it is absolutely crucial that we separate fact from fiction. The Rothschilds were undoubtedly a highly influential 19th century banking family. They financed monarchies, they funded major infrastructure. But those conspiracy theories claiming they secretly control the entire world, those are simply myths. There is zero evidence to support those claims. Their real power was simply in being incredibly early and just highly effective at international banking. All right, so moving on to the Rockefeller era, we start to see a totally different kind of innovation. The real takeaway from John D. Rockefeller's massive Standard Oil fortune isn't just about making a ton of money. It's about mastering a very specific three-step generational strategy. Step 1, create the wealth. Step 2, protect the wealth. And step 3, expand it. The true genius wasn't just earning the cash. It was making absolutely sure it didn't just vanish after a single generation. So how exactly did they pull off protecting and expanding it? Well, they institutionalized it. Instead of just handing down piles of cash to their kids, the Rockefellers built an entire empire of foundations, trusts, universities, and investment firms. By utilizing these exact financial structures, they ensured their wealth basically became a permanent institution, completely insulated from drying up after that first generation. And then we have the Morgans. The Morgan philosophy represents another massive leap in financial strategy. It's all about wielding power by controlling capital and opportunity, rather than just, making physical products. JP Morgan literally rescued the American financial system before a central bank even existed. It proved that ultimate financial power doesn't come from owning a factory. It lies in controlling the flow of the capital itself. Because at the end of the day, capital controls opportunity. Section 2. The power of anonymity. Why Europe's oldest dynasties stay out of the public eye. You see, fame attracts dangerous scrutiny. Constant public visibility, it brings lawsuits, heavy political pressure, endless criticism, and very real security concerns. And this is exactly why old money intentionally avoids the spotlight. They dodge these risks completely so they can focus on what actually matters, quietly acquiring cash-flowing assets without anyone getting in their way. Section 3. Inside the family office. Uncovering the modern machinery of hidden wealth. So how do they do it today? The answer is the family office. If you haven't heard of it, a family office is basically a private company whose sole purpose is managing a single wealthy family's investments, taxes, and assets. Instead of using traditional wealth management services like a regular millionaire might use, these dynasties build a totally private, entirely customized financial infrastructure just for themselves. Just imagine having this kind of team working for you. A dedicated investment team, top-tier lawyers, tax experts, estate planners, financial analysts, the whole shebang. And they're all working exclusively for your family. By keeping everything entirely in-house and totally private, they ensure their wealth generates cash flow and influence year after year. And the best part for them? It's completely shielded from the public tracking and regulatory filings that normal public companies have to deal with. Which brings us to Section 4, Old Wealth in Modern Markets, How Traditional Dynasties Adapt and Invest Today. Obviously, the game has totally changed with technology, but these hidden families, they adapt seamlessly. Modern old money portfolios aren't just holding on to old railroads anymore. No, they're heavily invested in private equity, venture capital, artificial intelligence, real estate, and global infrastructure. Today, they are quietly blending their historic wealth with cutting-edge modern innovation. They're privately scooping up these high-growth assets way before the general public even gets a chance. So, what's the grand takeaway here? Well, it's that no single family controls global finance. The system is just way too complex for that, involving multiple governments, central banks, and massive corporations. But the ultimate skill? That's mastering the preservation of wealth across hundreds of years. Look, building wealth is incredibly hard, for sure, but keeping it for centuries? That is an absolute masterclass in strategy. It proves that true power lies in deliberate, institutionalized preservation. I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. Let's say you inherited $100 million today. What would you do first? Would you just invest it traditionally, spend it on flashy new money items? Or would you take the old money route and start building a permanent family legacy? It really forces a completely different way of looking at wealth, doesn't it? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep thinking about how this unseen world actually operates.